Video games have been around since the 1950s, with the game Tennis for Two being created by William Higginbottom. Since then, there have been numerous games that have brought forth revolutionary change to the gaming industry. In 1967, the Brown Box was created. This was the first video game home console created by Ralph Baer, who later licensed the product to Magnavox, which was sold under the name of the Odyssey in 1972. Unfortunately, this console would die out over the next couple of years. One of the 28 games included on the Odyssey has given life to a new game, Atari's Pong. This first game created by the company in 1972. Atari later released this game as a home version as well as an arcade version. Moving on to 1977, the Atari 2600 was released. This home video game console included joysticks and game cartridges that could be switched out to play different games. This started off the second generation of video game consoles. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, there were some noteworthy milestones, being the release of the game Space Invaders in arcades in 1978, the creation of Donkey Kong made by Nintendo, which introduced the ever-popular character Mario. There was a period of time where the video game industry experienced a crash. This meant an oversaturated game console market, competition for computer gaming, and various other factors. This lasted for a few years and left many companies in bankruptcy. This all changed when the Nintendo Entertainment System was introduced to the United States in 1985, previously introduced as the Famicom in Japan. This was a revolutionary system that brought forth many needed changes and upgrades like 8-bit graphics. Nintendo, one of the leading video game companies today, started out as a playing card manufacturer in 1889. Nintendo is responsible for many of today's biggest video game franchises, being Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and Animal Crossing, and numerous others. There are various other third-party companies that develop video games for Nintendo, with many regulations in place to make top-quality games. Nintendo also made news again with making the portable handheld consoles such as the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Nintendo DS, and Nintendo 3DS. In 1989, the company known as Sega, responsible for the franchise Sonic the Hedgehog, released the Genesis console, which aimed to rival the NES from Nintendo, with its superior technological advancements. Nintendo's response to this was to create the Super NES console. This started a new age of console wars. During this time, many new franchises were brought to light, with the arrival of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, both extremely popular fighting games which were a bit violent. Because of the games being deemed violent, Sega created a video game rating council to provide detailed labels for video games sold on the Sega console. This council would later rise farther and become something used to rate video games based on content today. Sega continued to dominate the video game industry when 3D gaming began to take shape, with the release of the Saturn system that played CDs rather than the cartridges in 1995. Then followed the release of the PlayStation. The year after, the Nintendo 64 was released. Moving on, Sega eventually stopped producing consoles and began to function as a third-party software company, leaving the competition between Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft. Since then, numerous consoles have been released from these three companies, being the PlayStation 3 and 4, the Nintendo GameCube, Wii, Wii U, and Nintendo Switch, and finally the Xbox 360 and Xbox One. For both Sony and Microsoft, they have plans to release new consoles, being the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, both of which have incredible advancements in processing power and graphics. The future of gaming is something to look forward to. With VR becoming very popular, who knows what is to come next. In the next video, I am going to be talking about my personal story with video games, and how they have affected me up until now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.